So let's
I'll
start
I'll
there.
still
Yeah.
still be unemployed by then. So
Let, let's actually start there. Um,
The lawn.
with our
well, I mean,
lawns.
we talk about the weather changing. We talk about it. I said it's football weather. It's also postseason baseball weather, but we think of it as football weather. The Red Sox, who have been really the only thing going on here for the
Wow.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
Okay, we can hit that later. The Red Sox, who have been the only thing going on here for the last few months, have still only managed to be 50% of our show each week, and now it just seems like they've been totally overshadowed. The postseason, they're in a postseason race. They are still in it, as we've said for the last few weeks, for the AL East championship. But all anyone wants to talk about is the Patriots stinking. So before we get into the Patriots stinking, or maybe not stinking, is this just like, do the Red Sox, and Mike, I think you said something about this, do the Red Sox strategically plan to go through a period of time where, okay, well, the Patriots have started, let's just drop off the grid for a little bit because no one's going to care anyway.
I mean, it's worked out really well for them the last few years because at that point they've been so far out of it. They're just like, well, no, football's here. We don't have to care about the Red Sox. Uh, I quick. Let's just use this as a quick aside. I every chance I get every time I get a chance to dump on the MLB schedule, I'm going to take it from now on for the rest of my life or until this godforsaken schedule changes. Like the Red Sox, I don't want to defend them because Lord knows I don't really care and whatever. Like they have gotten, it feels like porked by the schedule in recent years. And this year might be the best example of it where it was last weekend, the first week of the football season. They were in Arizona. Nobody, literally nobody, is asking for Red Sox Diamondbacks in the first week of September. And honestly, go look at the 2026 schedule. It's even worse. Like they don't I think they play like 3 divisional games in September. And maybe baseball is just forfeiting the entire month of September and say we'll catch you in October and we'll take our chances there. But like I don't know, there has to be a better way. And I know they're playing the Yankees, I think, this weekend, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. So maybe you get a little bit of that back. The irony too with the Red Sox is that up until this season, they've completely blown it with the Patriots sucking. And like as a great man once said, football is king. So like they have no chance anyway. They're fighting an uphill climb as it is, but they're going to be in the playoffs. And in like 3 weeks from now, we're going to be talking about the Red Sox ahead of the Patriots. And that will happen for as long as the Red Sox want it to continue. Um, but yeah, there is part of me where it's like, man, like Phoenix to Sacramento is
Mhm.
just not. You want to talk about it feeling like fall? That's not fall when you're talking about Red Sox baseball. They should be playing teams in their own goddamn league, let alone their own division or vice versa. And like, so again, I think the more I think about it, this is a reflection of the schedule more than anything else. And like when you have an unbalanced schedule or balanced schedule, I guess it would be,
Balance, yeah.
it's this is what happens. You get this just chicanery, and it's bad for the sport in my opinion. I remember I'm old enough to remember 2011 and like even on nights I wasn't working, I remember sitting on the couch watching MLB Network and they were doing the whip around and things like that. And you're like, all right, this all means something. And I just feel like when you have the balanced schedule like they do right now, you don't get that as much and you just run the risk of and we've seen this with the Red Sox, but you can see this in other markets too. Like if you completely forfeit the month of September to football, there's a chance you don't get those people back. You know what I mean? So like that's the risk that you run with being like, well, we're not going to touch football, so like why even try? It's like, well, okay, when you know the Braves are playing the Rays in a World Series, like no one's going to watch because there's been no investment and it's two bad markets. So I just kind of ranted and raved a little bit, but I feel like I landed the plane a little bit.
I mean, I think with the fact that they are playing the Yankees this weekend, I mean, it is a massive series, and the fact that it's still, Felger and Maz is opening up with the Patriots on a, Wednesday or whatever.
They opened with the Red Sox yesterday. I will say that.
All
I
right.
real time fact check. They opened with the Red Sox.
Well,
Connolly early.
I just think like the media coverage in general of it's so clearly like Patriots. I don't know, Patriots centric might be too strong, but like Patriot, it's favoring the Patriots when it comes to that, and the fact that they're going into a massive series, and now it's going to be a Friday night, it's going to be a Saturday. They're not going to get the sports talk radio to talk about that on Friday night or Saturday because of when those games are played too. Like I think that's one aspect of it, and then you're going to come back on Monday, and it's going to be well, the Patriots just beat the Dolphins or lost the Dolphins, and that's going to be the first segment on the show, and it's not going to be the Red Sox Yankees series, which is arguably one of their biggest series in recent memory at this point, given how the playoff race is going right now. So I think it is like a scheduling aspect as well, but it is kind of stunning to see, how it is like transpiring and the fact that they really like this is an actual meaningful race or an actual meaningful push for them. And again, it's Patriots and Dolphins.
I have a theory, and I think it's that we're, as like a media promotion industry, we're just bad at pivoting. Like we're bad at being flexible nowadays. I mean, we've been in it when you're planning content, right? Like you have to be planning your September content in July.
Hmm.
And so then when July comes around, like right now the Red Sox and the Yankees, not only are they playing this weekend, they're on a path to have a gigantic postseason series against each other. Everything should be dedicated to pushing that narrative right now. But it's just one of those things where when you were doing this, we were mapping out September in May, June, July. We get to this point and it's almost like, well, wait, this isn't part of the plan, so I can't do this now because we have to do the Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, fun bat flip piece on Instagram tomorrow. And I think one thing that I always look at to see whether teams expect to be good in September is how many giveaways and theme nights they have late in the season. um, because if you expect to be good, you don't need to do the Wally Croc Gibbet giveaway the last weekend of the regular season, right? So like when you see like just things jam packed in September, a team, you can tell a team is like, okay, kids are going to be back in school. We might not be very good. We really got to make sure people want to come and get the free Pokemon T-shirt. And the Red Sox have a lot of those in September. So I just think it's like they were poised to have a certain setup going into the last month of the season, and now when there's actually reason to really get excited, I just think that there's an absence of that ability to pivot and adjust to what you're seeing on the fly because of the desire to have everything planned and choreographed down to the nth degree.
I will say I don't give him enough credit when he makes good points. So I think Sean made an interesting point about
They don't make many good ones.
they don't make many good ones. So one, yeah, positive reinforcement. The thing about like the weekend series, I hadn't really thought of in that way, but it makes all the sense in the world. Like, there's no buzz going into the weekend because everybody's doing their Patriots preview, especially with like the Patriots right now and the injuries, and they need a win very badly. This game is maybe the season already, and here we go. And like, yeah, no matter what happens, like you're gonna be talking about like this series would have been better suited for like Tuesday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday
Yep.
than it would Friday through Sunday. Not that like I really don't think baseball thinks about that sort of thing, and I don't even know if they should. Like that seems a little too granular, but it is interesting the way it plays out that way. With Ben's point too, like with the Red Sox, like if you want to talk about doing your planning in June, like the Red Sox had just traded Rafael Devers in June, so that didn't pretend well for the rest of the season. Yeah, it is. It's a delicate balance, and like I remember being in meetings where it's like the Red Sox might be playing in Cleveland next week. Do we have anybody going? And it's like, yeah, I would hope so. Like it's gonna be a playoff game. Like, and like that mobilization is, I think, maybe more difficult than people realize. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of this. I don't think people realize either. It's like you're just so at the mercy, and I guess you can try to plan. You're at the mercy of the team's success for like 90% of your own media success. And like networks love to say that they're doing, great. We're getting X amount of viewers, we're getting Y amount of engagements, impressions, and it's like, yeah, they're 16 games above 500. Like I would hope that people are tuning in, and like you can kind of take that for granted down the stretch too. As you get to like planning for the playoffs, it's like let's just ride this wave as long as we can, and that does maybe make up for some of the planning things that Ben was alluding to, but ultimately you're just kind of waiting. You're in react mode to a certain extent because if the team is good, like people are going to care and you want to maximize that. And if they're not, then you have to pivot. And like that's how like the numbers ultimately say what they're going to say. And like I think we've seen, it turns into like a sport versus sport thing as much as it is a team versus team thing.
It's
Yep.
also funny because like decisions that are made, thousands of miles away in Oakland and Sacramento and Las Vegas can also impact you, 10 months later, 18 months later, whatever, because it doesn't help the optics either that you're in the middle of this pennant race, so to speak, and the Patriots have just started playing in a real NFL stadium, real NFL games, and you're playing in a spring
Yeah.
training complex.
Mhm.
I just think watching the A's, I'm glad that it's a small, good environment from everything I hear. But watching those games, the play on the field really, notwithstanding at all, just struck me as an embarrassment for Major League Baseball. I mean, that's the fact that they are just like, okay, well, we're not going to play in Oakland anymore. Oh, we don't really have another stadium. Well, fine, we're leaving anyway, and we don't have a place to play, so I guess we'll play in this minor league field in Sacramento. It's such a bad look just on its own,
Mhm.
but it's especially a bad look when you're playing Major League Baseball games this first, second week of September, uh, in what should really be it looks like a minor league park because that's what it is.
The ace thing might be the biggest piece of bullshit in all of sports right now. Like it's just, and like again, I'm one person. Take it for whatever you want. Like it's just a small, like the smallest piece of data. No shot am I staying up late on a Tuesday night to watch a game in Sacramento. Again, and I guess the A's are better than they've been in the past, which is another one of the ironies of this entire thing. Is like they actually don't have a horrible team for the first time in a long time. But like I'm all set, man. I'm not gonna. I don't need to stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not that late, but I don't need to stay up till 1 in the morning to watch Connolly Early pitch against Brent Rooker. Like that's not gonna get my motor going. So I'll catch you guys when you get to New York or whatever. And like honestly, there's probably more people like me than the opposite at this point. So like maybe yeah, it is you lean into the that I guess like as I get older, I'm like I could see why Red Sox Yankees is such a valuable draw to TV networks because
Yeah.
like I've become more and more casual and I'm like that's all I really care about and I don't care about the Red Sox playing a minor league team because again like it's a very silent protest and a very small one but it's like if if a team one of the 30 Major League Baseball teams is going to say or how many? Yeah, 30. Like basically we don't give a shit and we are just trying to make as much money as we can and we're not gonna really play ball, so to speak, until we get our privately funded stadium that oh by the way might be falling apart. Like if if Major League Baseball is gonna let that happen on its watch, then like you don't get my view. I'm sorry. And I know like that's not a huge deal. I don't even mean it like I don't actively think of it as a protest, but it's more of a passive thing. Like 9:45 rolls around, I'm brushing my teeth and going to read. I'll just check this in the morning. I'll watch the highlights to as a bit of a foreshadowing. Um, but like I'm just not gonna give you that time. Like it's my time is valuable. You're not getting it when you've played the worst game of hokey pokey with this organization. It is unbecoming of professional sports. It's just it's an embarrassment.
Mike, your point about like sport first sport thing just kind of made me think about it. And so this is like a little bit different than what you guys are saying, but I'm also anticipating not watching a single game of the final Red Sox series because the Ryder Cup is going to be that weekend. And I don't think like that's that's probably not the most popular take, like and especially regional wise, like it's it's not a huge golf area, but like that's another added piece of competition in my mind. You know, when you're talking about that end of September thing, like I'm not going to be tuning into those games either. I don't know if either of you guys feel the same way, but
I think
Are they
familiarity.
playing?
That the last week of the season, I think they're playing Pittsburgh or something like that. So
it's Detroit, yeah,
or Detroit. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
Okay, so a good team, but maybe not a team that's.
But
Gonna
it won't
impact
matter.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
It's not
it
going to
used to be
impact
40
seeding,
games
most
over
likely.
500. The
Yeah.
Red Sox would be locked into their thing.
yeah,
Which like is, but again, fine. Let's continue to shit on baseball. Like
yeah.
the extra wild card has bastardized uh playoff races to an extent. You know what I mean? Like there used to be like actual value in the last 2 weeks of September because it's like by having a small playoff field, those games, regular season games mean a lot more. Baseball being like we're adding to the playoffs and they're going to do it again by the way. That we're not done expanding MLB playoffs. The what your biggest inventory 162 games, like the thing on which you build an entire sport in your sports industry has become minimized with every passing year by this playoff field. And now, then you start mixing in like the Red Sox, I think, play the Cubs the final 3 games of the season next year. Like, what, how, what are we doing? Like, I just don't, how am I supposed to get excited about that? And like, that's, again, part of this whole decision. And like this, again, a lot of it comes back to money, right? But they're chasing, these are all rooted in money, which is like, yeah. I know that's not a news flash or anything like that, but this is the kind of this is what happens.
And I mean, MLB is looking to add, NFL is looking to add, NBA has added like an in-season playoff sort of thing. So everyone's looking to add, and the problem with everybody adding is there's only so much space in like the sports person's brain. There used to be a ebb and flow to the sports calendar, and when you start to interrupt that too much, it leads to people just saying, well, something has to drop off. Like, I can't follow all of it anymore. So at some point it's like, okay, well, I can't do football, baseball, and Ryder Cup. Something has to go. And one thing that really kind of struck me with that is when they were talking about the NFL adding an 18th regular season game, NASCAR is considering, because traditionally the Daytona 500 is the first Sunday after the Super Bowl, NASCAR is considering moving the Daytona 500 to the summer because they don't want it to push it further back in February, but they don't want to go up against the Super Bowl, obviously. But like for me, the Daytona 500 happening in July, it doesn't happen in July. Like if you run it, you can call it the Daytona 500. I do not consider it the Daytona 500. It's like
the Coke 400.
Yeah, it's a different thing. Yeah. And so if that happens, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to watch the Daytona 500. It's in July. Like I'll probably be on a beach somewhere, Lord willing. And that's just if you keep adding inventory, the all boats can't rise in that situation. Like some boats have to capsize and tip over for me to stay on a boat that's afloat.
Some boats got to sink. I wish there's a better way to quantify the thing that we're kind of circling around here, because I don't think it really matters, and I think we're probably overthinking it as 3 dorks within the industry or around it, because like,
hey, Sean has his hat on backwards. He can't be a dork. He's a
I have
cool
a very
Mike.
I think the Daytona 500 thing is an interesting example, and like this is a me thing more than anything else, but like the rhythm of the sports year is very ingrained in my brain, where it's all right, winter sucks, like we're in the dead of winter, but like the Super Bowl rolls around, it's like the Super Bowl's cool, that's exciting, pitchers and catchers, you're like, okay, we're getting there. Then like for me, I don't really care about NASCAR, but like having the Daytona 500 in February is a sign to me that like this is a season starting that will continue through September. So I know that this thing is tangentially attached to summer, and therefore by this being on this specific day, I know that summer is getting close and like winter is nearing its end. The same thing with like golf's talking about moving around its playoff schedule and things like that. Like I don't think obviously like the Masters is not going to move out of April, but like I think eventually we're going to see like Pebble Beach moved to the fall or like the end of summer. Pebble Beach could be a playoff thing. Like the West Coast swing. Like, there's nothing better for me as a golf fan than like Waialae or the Hawaii events on the dead of night in January. Just as like we're getting there. So I do think there's a value in that rhythm. I just don't think it's I think it's hard to quantify, and B, we're probably overstating the actual value of such things.
But a great example of that is like as big as football is, how many spring professional football leagues have they tried and they haven't caught on?
Yeah, right,
Because
exactly.
like no matter how big a football fan is, like there's something that feels wrong about watching a regular season football game in May.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, no thanks. Even if like the NFL was playing, I don't think I would. You know what I mean? It'd be an interesting test case. Give it time, but Sean, what were you gonna say?
Maybe a stupid question, but the Daytona 500 part for someone that doesn't watch a ton of NASCAR, why wouldn't they just push it back a week? Like what's the next week's event that's more notable or like has this has the notoriety of the Daytona 500?
Well, the other thing is it historically is the start of the season, but it's technically not even the start of the season anymore because of the NFL adding a 17th game. Now they like start in like Arizona or something. So that's another thing where like it is weird. I don't know if they have done that, if they've done that the last couple of years, but I do know for a couple of years it was weird because I didn't pay attention to NASCAR until after the Super Bowl is over. And then you come in and it's like, yeah, we're ready for the Daytona 500. Denny Hamlin leads in points after last week's game. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, oh, yeah. And that's the other, is they going out to California. Oh, they started the season in L.A. a few years ago.
The Coliseum thing.
And that's another thing.
Like, does this count or does this not count? Like, what's...
But that's the other thing is it's like there's also something about starting your season in Florida in like the heart of your fan base versus starting it out in California and Arizona. It's like,
Speed Week is now like 6 weeks long. Or
the NFL might as well start in Scotland if that's what we're going to be doing with NASCAR. Yeah.
But why are they doing that?
Doing what?
Why are they starting in California?
Because they still want to have they still want to have a 37-week season, and so like
why do they want to have a 37-week season?
Money for TV deals, because if they have fewer races,
it was somewhat rhetorical. Yeah, it gets just it all comes.
But
back
that's
to
what I'm saying is like so they don't want to push. I guess they don't want to push the 500 further back, like and have it be in the winter still. So they're just looking at like, oh, we can do it July 4th or something like that. And I just think that's misguided.
That's Hot Dog Day. How are you going to compete with that?
That's true. That's Joey Chestnut.
Can I raise one interesting point about this? In my opinion, is like
we're
talking about adding inventory. Like, what about like the Four Nations? So like, isn't that kind of proof that if you, I guess it turns into like a chicken and egg thing, right? Is it a product or is it quantity? Like, if you hit the product well, this is kind of the thing we were talking about a couple weeks ago with like the new PGA Tour CEO, who had said in his Brian Roloff in his first press conference is like, if you get the product right, like you can, everything else takes care of itself. And I think like Four Nations is an example that like you can add in a way that makes sense. Granted, they did subtract. But like they moved heavens and earth with their season to facilitate that, and it was a smashing success. But that's because it was a good product more so than it was just product, if that makes sense.
Oh, 100%. And I think that's my biggest issue with the NFL adding games is
or the NBA's mid-season tournament.
Yeah, but so specifically with the NFL, like each game the NFL adds hurts the product more and more. Like the NFL product, it's like it's not built to just add games over and over. Like the play on the field suffers. There's the talent. Like it really strikes me at the beginning of every football season that we don't have enough human beings on earth who are capable of playing NFL offensive line and NFL quarterback. Like specifically like left tackle. And then you get to the point of adding more games, increasing the chances of injury. Now you have even more guys who are not capable of playing that at a high level. It's funny when you like look back and people like every football fan, right, insists that back in their day, like their team had a great quarterback. You're like, okay, how was every quarterback great back then? Oh, because there was 14 teams. So like every team did have to have a good player. Now there's not enough guys to fill those jobs now.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and they made an interesting point. We're recording this on Thursday, and they're like talking about because this is for the NFL. I think this is a problem in the micro and in the macro, where it's like, Thursday night football is just a waste of the product because you're getting tonight, for example, you're getting Packers Commanders, a game that like it gets single game billing, right, as the Thursday night game. Like it's going to draw insane numbers. It's going to be the biggest sporting event until Sunday. But like you're taking two really good teams with very exciting players and you're like, for the sake of money, we're going to minimize this product. And it's just like I still can't get excited for Thursday night football after however many years it's been, right? And like now you're going to start talking about that with like the season itself, that this is more evidence to the point that you're making, I think. It just sucks.
I can definitely get excited for Thursday night football. I think if it's a good game, like I think what mattered for so long, and maybe the reason that you couldn't get excited for it for so long was because they put trash teams against one another simply for the sake of having a game that night that nobody
I'd
would have
rather them
watched
take
on
advantage
Sunday.
of me watching by doing that than putting good teams there, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I would much rather watch like a legit game on Thursday night
you're
than
gonna watch either way, right?
I don't think, yeah, I guess probably, but I'm much more likely to tune into tonight's game than something in week 5 against, I don't know, the Seahawks against whoever,
That's
the
fair.
Rams or something. Like I'm much more likely to watch that tonight's game. And I think it's kind of a good thing that they put those, big games in these primetime spots. Like Monday nights is another, Monday nights always had a much better schedule than Thursday night. But, there have been times where it's, those games suffer as well. And I think putting like legitimate games on those primetime spots is, and maybe it's because I also work all day on Sunday. So I don't get to watch, I don't get to watch those
I,
games on Sunday. I'm sure that matters to some extent as well. But I'm much more likely, and I enjoy watching the primetime games on Thursday and Monday.
well, how much money is Amazon paying for that package?
Yeah.
So that's why they're getting good games too. That's another,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that, the quality of play on Thursday night football or the quality of matchup has gotten uh, undeniably better since
Hmm.
Amazon bought the Thursday night
Yeah.
football rights, which is probably not the best way to run a professional sports league if competition is a major tenet of your
And
mission.
is it
But
too little, too late with having worthwhile games on that Thursday? Because, like Sean mentioned, like we have decades of conditioning now to expect Titans Jaguars on
Yeah.
Thursday night
Color
football. So
rush,
Thursday
yeah.
night football has
Yeah.
almost become a joke. So even if
Hmm.
we do have good games on Thursday night, people still joke about, oh, we got Texans Cardinals on Thursday. In all honesty, what did Thursday football used to be? It used to be the awesome MAC game that you'd see, Toledo and
or
Bowling
ACC
Green.
game, yeah.
Yeah,
Or like
and
Virginia Tech was always playing on Thursday night. It felt like, yeah.
yeah, and like that was the excitement around Thursday night football. It was those sort of weird games, and now, now the idea of it is something that's just totally boring and disposable.
I do
Unless you're
think that
Sean.
well, maybe that's why I'm speaking up. I do think like there's something to be said about it though, that they have such a stranglehold over everyone that if they just put a good game on a Thursday night, you're not going to think about week 12 from the 21 season. Like I just think like that goes out the window in my mind. I'm not thinking about what used to be on Thursday night. Now I'm thinking like, oh, like this schedule's a lot better. So now I'm going to watch this. So I, I'm definitely gonna watch tonight. Mike, I know you are too, but
Yeah. Sean is as somebody who covers the Patriots and roots for the Cowboys, I can see why you'd be drawn to any good football no matter what day it's on. So that makes sense.
Oh, I was gonna say, as a Cowboys fan, Sean, you just want an 18th game schedule because that's the only way you're gonna see an 18th game from the Cowboys every
no,
season.
they'll make the playoffs. They're just gonna lose their 18th game of the season.
Well, the other thing is
Not
like,
this
yeah,
year.
The NFL is going to keep expanding the playoff field until the Cowboys can get in, so they can cash in on that super duper infinity wild card. It's like
Mike, you're
4 weeks before the divisional round. It's like,
Mike, your hat like made me think about it too. Have you guys started watching the America's Team doc with Jerry.
I haven't had time yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
I started watching it last night, and they're about like 45 to an hour, and I flew through 4 episodes. I'm like, this
The
is. I wish
the
these were my days.
The
Isn't like
Cowboys have
Jerry
been,
Jones an executive producer on that or something though?
I'm
Yeah.
sure he is.
Oh,
It's-
see, I
it's-
don't have any time for that.
It's like, I mean, it's favorable.
but like
to
then you're
him.
never gonna watch a sports documentary
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
basically,
Like
Yeah.
yeah,
basically.
yeah.
They like actually shared some insight into like the Jimmy Johnson stuff though. So that was, I feel like, not something that they traditionally talk about.
The only thing I've seen so far from that is like the clip going around like Jerry Jones talking about how like the Packers broke him in 2023 in that playoff game.
I'm
and
not there
that's
yet,
enough
but
for me.